The young and the restless spoilers shock in the simmering twilight of Genoa City. Tensions reached a fevered pitch as ideological and personal conflicts intertwined in a way that threatened to unravel long-held loyalties. The stage was set in the elegant drawing room of a stately mansion, where Claire and Kyle, two souls bound by a love that had weathered many storms, found themselves locked in a heated debate about Victor's increasingly radical actions. Both Claire and Kyle held firm convictions. They believed that Victor's uncompromising and dangerous path was not only misguided but perilously overreaching. As the conversation escalated, every word became a spark that could ignite a larger conflagration. "Victor has crossed the line," Claire argued, her voice trembling with a mix of anger and despair. "He is blind to the consequences of his actions, and his relentless pursuit of power is tearing us all apart." Kyle, equally impassioned, nodded in agreement. "Exactly, Claire. We can't just stand by while he pushes us into a battle that serves no one. We must convince him to end this senseless war. Our families, our future, it's all at risk." Kyle's plea was both personal and political. He saw the ongoing conflict as a foolish fight that drained not only resources but the very essence of what bound them together. "I need you to speak with him," Kyle insisted. "Tell him that this war, this vendetta, it must end. We are not meant to live in a perpetual cycle of strife and retribution. It's time to put aside these destructive ideologies and find a path to reconciliation." Yet, despite Kyle's heartfelt appeals, Victor remained impervious to their entreaties. With a steely gaze and an unwavering tone, Victor retorted, "I am doing what is necessary. The sacrifices must be made, and I will not be swayed by sentimentality or personal attachment." Amidst the turmoil of political ideals and ethical dilemmas, another layer of complexity lay hidden beneath Kyle's personal desires. In a tender moment amid the chaos, Kyle confessed his longing to marry Claire, a union he believed could bridge the gap between disparate worlds. "Claire, our love could be the anchor in these turbulent times," he whispered, his eyes filled with hope and vulnerability. However, the prospect of uniting their families seemed insurmountable. The deep-seated differences and historical grievances that defined their familial backgrounds cast a long shadow over any chance of reconciliation. Their relationship, already marred by external conflicts, now faced the additional burden of legacy and identity, a testament to the intricate dance between personal happiness and the responsibilities dictated by birth and history. Yet, the unfolding drama was far more convoluted than a mere ideological dispute or a forbidden love story. In an unforeseen twist that epitomized the unpredictable nature of life in Genoa City, Summer burst onto the scene in a state of distraught desperation. Her tear-stained face and frantic energy cut through the charged atmosphere like a knife. "My mother is missing," she cried, her voice quivering with raw emotion. "And Phyllis. Phyllis has been kidnapped." The announcement rippled through the room, injecting a potent mix of urgency and panic into an already volatile situation. As the gravity of Summer's news settled in, the delicate balance between personal and political strife teetered on the brink of collapse. Instead of retreating into solitude or seeking solace in despair, Summer's actions took on a duplicitous edge. With calculated precision that belied her apparent vulnerability, she moved toward Kyle. In front of a stunned Claire, Summer wrapped her arms around him in an embrace that was as much an expression of shared sorrow as it was an overt provocation. "Kyle, you must understand," she murmured between soft sobs, her words laced with both tenderness and a deliberate insinuation. "We belong together. You know this in your heart." The public display of affection was not born out of genuine affection alone, it was a strategic maneuver designed to unsettle Claire, to remind her of the complexities of love and allegiance in a world where loyalties shifted like sand. Kyle found himself ensnared in a maelstrom of conflicting emotions. Torn between his desire to alleviate Summer's pain and his enduring commitment to Claire, he stood frozen in confusion. Every fiber of his being cried out to shield Summer from further harm, yet he could not ignore the silent plea of his heart that had long belonged to Claire. His internal struggle was palpable, a silent testimony to the fragile nature of human relationships when caught in the crossfire of ambition and personal vendettas. For Claire, the scene was nothing short of a betrayal. The sight of Kyle enveloped in Summer's embrace, set against the backdrop of desperate declarations and unresolved conflicts, ignited a fury that burned hotter than any ideological debate. "How dare you?" Claire hissed, her voice laced with contempt and heartbreak. "I thought our bond was sacred, that we could stand together against these absurdities. But you choose to make a mockery of everything we've fought for." Muttering incoherently, Claire turned on her heel and stormed out of the room, leaving behind a trail of unresolved questions and shattered dreams. Her departure was both an act of defiance and a silent testimony to the pain of witnessing a love betrayed in the most public of arenas. In the wake of her exit, the room was left in a state of heavy silence, the echoes of anger and sorrow mingling in the air. Kyle stood amidst the ruins of what once promised unity, his heart divided between the compelling allure of Summer's desperate embrace and the enduring commitment he felt toward Claire. Every moment that ticked by deepened the chasm of his internal conflict, as he grappled with the reality that love, in the world of Genoa City, was an intricate tapestry woven with threads of loyalty, betrayal, duty, and passion. The philosophical debate over Victor's actions was now only a fragment of a much larger narrative, a narrative where personal ambitions and heartaches intermingled with ideological stances. The conflict was not just about a man's misguided quest for power, but about the very nature of human connection in the face of relentless adversity. Victor's unwavering belief in his own righteousness stood in stark contrast to the chaotic emotional landscape of those who suffered the collateral damage of his decisions. His refusal to relent, even when confronted with the raw emotions of those who cared about him, underscored the tragic irony of his character, a man who believed himself to be a savior, yet whose actions only deepened the fractures within his own world. Meanwhile, Kyle's desire to forge a new path with Claire was emblematic of a hope that transcended the bitter disputes of the present. It was a hope that, if nurtured, could bridge the vast differences between families and ideologies. But fate, as it often does in the labyrinthine corridors of Genoa City, had other plans. Summer's calculated interference, masked in the guise of distress and familial tragedy, served as a stark reminder that in this world, personal motives often collided with grander schemes, leaving no one unscathed in their wake. As the night deepened and the mansion's corridors filled with whispers of conspiracies and shattered alliances, one truth remained clear: the battle lines had been drawn not only by the ambitions of a single man like Victor, but by the multifaceted struggles of love, duty, and the relentless pursuit of power. The consequences of this tumultuous encounter were yet to be fully realized, and each character, caught in the inexorable pull of destiny, would have to confront the reality that sometimes, the most dangerous battles are fought not on battlefields or in boardrooms, but in the quiet, unyielding recesses of the human heart. In the end, Summer's objective had been accomplished. By igniting a spark of jealousy and betrayal, she had laid bare the fragile foundations of trust between Claire and Kyle, a trust that had once been thought unbreakable. And as the echoes of Claire's footsteps faded into the night, the intricate dance of love and conflict continued, leaving every onlooker to wonder if there was ever truly a way to escape the cycles of hurt and ambition that defined their lives. In the tumultuous world of Genoa City, where secrets and scandal are as common as the rising sun, a new crisis has emerged that threatens to shatter the fragile balance of power and passion that has long defined the lives of its inhabitants. The news of Phyllis's disappearance, a mystery that had loomed ominously over the past 2 days, has now been confirmed. Despite countless predictions and anxious whispers, the truth is undeniable: Phyllis vanished without a trace, leaving no communication, no evidence, and an echoing silence that reverberated through the corridors of power. For days, the absence of Phyllis had been the subject of frantic speculation. Rumors spread like wildfire, each more fantastical than the last, as family members and rivals alike wondered what fate had befallen her. Now, with the grim confirmation that she had not contacted anyone nor left behind even the faintest hint of her whereabouts, the weight of uncertainty bore down on everyone who once considered her presence a stabilizing force in the chaotic tapestry of Genoa City. The disappearance, shrouded in mystery and betrayal, became a symbol of the unpredictable cruelty of fate. A cruel reminder that in a city built on ambition and deceit, nothing was ever truly safe. Amid this unfolding crisis, the personal lives of those entangled in the city's intricate drama continued to spiral into disarray. Kyle, ever the voice of calm amidst the storm, attempted to reassure his beleaguered companions with measured words that carried the weight of both hope and resignation. "Rest assured," he said, his tone steady even as his eyes betrayed a hint of inner turmoil, "everything will be resolved in time. We must remain calm and not allow our fears to overwhelm us." His words, intended to serve as a soothing balm in troubled times, echoed in the halls of the mansion, a desperate attempt to stave off the encroaching darkness. Yet, even as Kyle's measured assurances sought to pacify the spiraling anxiety, another figure stepped into the spotlight, altering the emotional landscape with her raw vulnerability. Summer, overcome with grief and panic, could no longer contain the torrent of emotions that had built up over the past harrowing days. Tears streamed down her face as she fell to her knees before Kyle, her voice trembling with a mixture of sorrow and desperate longing. "Please, Kyle," she pleaded, her words choked with anguish, "stay by my side. I need you now more than ever." Her plea was not merely a cry for comfort, it was a calculated bid for solace, a trap set with the intention of ensnaring Kyle in the web of her pity and desperation. Caught off guard by the intensity of Summer's plea, Kyle found himself ensnared in the very trap he had hoped to avoid. In that vulnerable moment, he reached out to console her, offering a compassionate embrace that, while meant to soothe, inadvertently set off a chain reaction of betrayal and jealousy. For Claire, who had long believed in the sanctity of their shared bond, the sight of Kyle succumbing to Summer's emotional appeal was a devastating blow. As Kyle wrapped his arms around Summer, trying to offer comfort in the face of overwhelming tragedy, Claire's heart shattered with each passing second. The trust she had once so unreservedly placed in him was suddenly replaced by a bitter cocktail of anger, jealousy, and betrayal. Claire's reaction was immediate and visceral. Unable to reconcile the man she loved with the image of him entangled in Summer's sorrow, she stormed away, her words barely a whisper as they escaped in a flurry of disbelief and hurt. "How could you?" she murmured, her voice thick with disdain and sorrow. In that moment, the gulf between them widened, leaving behind a chasm of shattered promises and lost affection. The mansion, already heavy with the despair of Phyllis's mysterious absence, now bore witness to another tragic fracture, a fracture in the heart of a relationship that once seemed invincible. The repercussions of this emotional upheaval were profound. Kyle, now torn between the competing demands of empathy and loyalty, found himself ensnared in a quagmire of conflicting emotions. His initial intentions, to be the peacemaker, to calm the raging storm of uncertainty and fear, had inadvertently led him down a treacherous path. The compassionate act that he believed would ease Summer's pain had instead fanned the flames of Claire's fury and jealousy, leaving him isolated at the center of a personal maelstrom. Each passing moment deepened the rift, as the repercussions of his actions rippled outward, affecting not only his relationship with Claire but also the delicate alliances that held the social order of Genoa City together. Meanwhile, the confirmed disappearance of Phyllis cast a long, dark shadow over an already turbulent scenario. The absence of any communication or trace of her presence raised unsettling questions about the forces at work behind the scenes. Was Phyllis's disappearance merely a tragic accident, or was it a deliberate move orchestrated by unseen adversaries? The silence surrounding her vanishing act served as a stark reminder that in Genoa City, the lines between friend and foe were often blurred, and the truth was a slippery, ever-changing illusion. Each unanswered question fed the growing paranoia among those who had once believed in the stability of their world, driving them further into a state of unease and suspicion. As the days turned into nights and back again, the residents of Genoa City were left to grapple with the stark realities of their situation. The loss of Phyllis was not an isolated incident. It was the latest manifestation of a series of events that had steadily undermined the very foundations of trust and loyalty. In the wake of her disappearance, alliances were strained, and every interaction was imbued with the tension of uncertainty. In private corners and whispered conversations, the name Phyllis became a symbol, a representation of the fragility of existence in a world where even the most seemingly secure lives could be upended in an instant. In the midst of this turmoil, the personal tragedies of love and betrayal played out with excruciating intensity. Kyle's attempts to console Summer, intended as an act of kindness, became a catalyst for further discord. Summer's desperate plea for companionship, born of genuine pain and a desire to find solace in another, collided with the unwavering expectations of a love that Claire had long nurtured. The inadvertent choice that Kyle made in the throes of compassion set off a chain reaction, a painful reminder that in Genoa City, every action had its consequences, and even the most well-intentioned gestures could lead to irrevocable damage. The delicate balance of trust, once the cornerstone of relationships in this turbulent city, now lay in tatters. Claire's retreat, fueled by feelings of betrayal and the stark realization that the man she loved had faltered in his loyalty, was a blow that resonated far beyond personal heartbreak. It was an echo of the broader disintegration of trust that had become all too common in a place where power and ambition reigned supreme. In that moment, the emotional bonds that had once promised a future of hope and unity crumbled under the weight of suspicion and despair. As the city braced itself for the uncertain days ahead, one truth remained unequivocal: the disappearance of Phyllis and the ensuing cascade of personal betrayals had forever altered the landscape of Genoa City. In a place where every smile hid a secret and every gesture could mask a hidden agenda, the loss of trust was perhaps the most devastating casualty of all. The ensuing silence, punctuated only by whispered regrets and the distant echoes of shattered dreams, served as a sobering reminder that in the relentless pursuit of power and survival, the most profound wounds were often inflicted upon the human heart. Thus, as the relentless march of time continued unabated, the residents of Genoa City found themselves at a crossroads, facing a future where the echoes of the past would continue to haunt every decision, every whispered conversation, and every tear shed in the quiet moments of despair. In the shadows of mystery and heartbreak, the city's inhabitants would have to navigate the treacherous terrain of loss, betrayal, and the ever-present uncertainty that defined their lives. And in the midst of it all, the hope for reconciliation and redemption, though battered and bruised, still flickered like a fragile flame, waiting for the day when truth and trust might once again illuminate the darkness. In the wake of recent events that have left hearts shattered and alliances broken, the emotional battlefield in Genoa City has erupted into a storm of fury and seduction. Claire, feeling deeply betrayed and hurt, finds herself compelled to issue a stark warning to both Kyle and Summer. In a terse and passionate message, she demands an explanation. Why would they conspire against the trust she once believed was unassailable? Her words, laced with anger and sorrow, cut through the silence of an already tense atmosphere, leaving no doubt about her feelings of betrayal. "I warned you both, never cross the line of loyalty and trust," she declared in her message, a message that resonates with the weight of every broken promise and every moment of shattered hope. For Claire, this warning is not just a reaction, it is a declaration of war, a signal that she is no longer willing to stand by while her world crumbles under the weight of deception. Her life, which once seemed to embody a delicate balance between love and duty, now teeters on the brink of collapse. Each word in her warning reflects a resolve to reclaim what was once hers, to salvage the remnants of her dignity that have been tarnished by the actions of those she once loved. Opposing Claire's fierce declaration is Summer, whose response is both provocative and unapologetic. With a mischievous glint in her eye and a smile that borders on defiance, Summer taunts Claire with a confidence that is as daring as it is hurtful. "You can warn all you want, Claire," Summer declares with a laugh that drips with self-assuredness, "but it's I who will be the victor in this battle for Kyle's heart. I've done it before, and I can do it again. There is nothing wrong with claiming what is rightfully mine." Her words are a blend of challenge and celebration, an unmistakable claim to victory in a contest where emotions run high and every gesture carries a double-edged meaning. As Summer's words echo through the tense corridors of their intertwined lives, the struggle between Claire and Summer intensifies. Their conflict, as personal as it is passionate, has become a spectacle that captivates all who bear witness. The air around them seems charged with a potent mix of rivalry and desire, a rivalry that is not only rooted in the competition for Kyle's affection but also in the deeper, more intricate web of power, trust, and betrayal. Each interaction, every exchanged glance, is a subtle maneuver in a high-stakes game that neither woman is willing to lose. Kyle, meanwhile, finds himself in the eye of this emotional hurricane. With every heated argument and every provocative challenge, he remains a silent observer, his heart caught between conflicting loyalties and emotions. Kyle's quiet presence in the background is both a source of comfort and a symbol of indecision. As he watches the unfolding drama between Claire and Summer, he is painfully aware that every choice he makes has the potential to tip the balance of power. His internal struggle is palpable, a quiet torment as he weighs his affections and responsibilities against the backdrop of a battle that seems destined to escalate. For Kyle, the situation is a delicate dance of emotions and consequences. On one hand, he is drawn to the fierce, unwavering spirit of Claire, a woman who has always stood for what she believes in and has fought valiantly to protect the sanctity of their relationship. On the other hand, Summer's bold and unrestrained nature tugs at a part of him that craves passion and the thrill of the unexpected. The very act of choosing seems to come with an unbearable cost, for every moment of indecision deepens the rift between love and desire, between loyalty and temptation. As the days stretch into nights, the tension between Claire and Summer transforms into a war of words and wills. Their conflict is more than a simple quarrel. It is a vivid reflection of the larger struggles that define life in Genoa City. Here, every personal slight and every public display of emotion reverberates through the corridors of power, influencing alliances and redefining relationships. The intensity of their rivalry is a testament to the fact that in a world where every smile conceals a secret and every gesture hides an ulterior motive, the fight for emotional supremacy can be as destructive as any political or financial war. Amid the heated exchanges and raw declarations, the question remains, where will Kyle's allegiance finally lie? Will he choose the steadfast loyalty and deep connection he has always shared with Claire, or will he succumb to the irresistible allure of Summer's provocative charm? His silence is not one of apathy, but rather a reflection of the profound internal conflict that has engulfed his soul. Each day, as he observes the escalating battle between the two formidable women, Kyle is forced to confront not only the impact of his own actions but also the realization that his indecision is slowly unraveling the very fabric of trust that once held his world together. In moments of quiet reflection, Kyle contemplates the path ahead. The heart-wrenching decisions that lie before him are burdened with the consequences of past mistakes and the promise of future regrets. He recalls the times when love was simple, a time when the stakes were lower, and the lines between right and wrong were clearly drawn. Now, in this labyrinth of conflicting emotions and shattered ideals, every step forward is fraught with the risk of further alienation and the possibility of irreversible loss. The power struggle between Claire and Summer, now in full bloom, captivates not just those directly involved but also the wider circle of acquaintances and onlookers who watch with bated breath. Their clash, a microcosm of the larger battles fought in the corridors of Genoa City's high society, serves as a reminder that the pursuit of love and power is often a tumultuous journey, one that leaves no heart unscathed. The stakes are high, and every choice carries the weight of not only personal ambition but also the deep-seated need for redemption and trust. In the midst of the turmoil, Claire's burning anger and unwavering determination serve as a rallying cry for anyone who has ever felt betrayed or misunderstood. Her warning to Kyle and Summer is more than just a message, it is a call to honor the sanctity of trust, to value loyalty above fleeting desires, and to recognize that true strength lies in the courage to stand by one's convictions, even when the world seems intent on tearing them apart. As the conflict reaches its crescendo, the future remains uncertain. The passionate battle between Claire and Summer is far from over, and the silent observer, Kyle, must eventually make a choice that will define not only his own destiny but also the fate of the relationships that have long been the cornerstone of his life. Will he find the courage to follow his heart, or will the weight of indecision force him to watch as the bonds he once cherished disintegrate into dust? For now, the stage is set, the players are in position, and the unfolding drama continues to enthrall all who witness it. In this relentless dance of love, betrayal, and ambition, one truth stands out: in the heart of Genoa City, where emotions are as volatile as the shifting sands of fate, every battle, whether fought with words, actions, or silent glances, has the power to reshape destinies and leave an indelible mark on the souls of those who dare to love.